2, 1.
Live from YMSL Studios, welcome to the Week 3 edition of the DougLESS Report. I'm your host, Bobby Moravia, with, as usual, NRJ to my left. And we have a very special guest star in studio, none other than Michael Saban Solomon. As you can see, coming up a sweep of the Turtles. Extremely excited, Saban. Saban
Tossing of
first time doing domestic duties, and Saban, we'd like to welcome you on the show.
Nice to see you guys again.
Use the mic, please. I got a
Long-time broadcaster.
Yes.
Coming back from resurrection. Glad to be here.
Michael, I got to tell you the truth. You took us all by storm this week. We're going to get to the game in a second.
Yep.
Norman, a complete turnaround from the first 2 weeks of the season. We had basically, we were an incredible defensive play away from having sweeps across the board.
wild.
And really now you're seeing the standings come into shape a little bit, and teams that we expected to be on top sort of on the bottom. It's going to be interesting, and we have the trading deadline this week, so we have a lot to talk about.
Well, we were not surprised to see a sweep in the Turtles versus Whiplash game,
Yes.
but I was very surprised to see that Whiplash was actually doing the sweeping without their first-round pick, David Farker, without their starting left fielder, Billy Miz. I played this team. Those two guys were integral to that team. I have no idea how it went down, and thankfully Saban is here in studio to take us through it.
Well, I believe last week's show you were predicting that we would be swept off the playing field.
Possibly mercied in one of the games.
Possibly mercied by the Turtles, who I just happened to bring my magic broom and sweep them into oblivion. You know what? We missed two of our star players, Norm. And all week we were preparing, and the great leader that I am spoke to my team, and I rallied the troops, and they went wild. I mean, they couldn't wait to play this team without those two guys, just to show how deadly we're going to be when we have a full team.
Now, what did you use as your rallying cry at the base of Mount Saban with all your followers waiting with bated breath on every word? What did you tell them? What was
First, when I was standing on Mount Saban, we had a golden statue of myself being danced around for days on end. That was number one. Number two, we threatened the rest of the team for being benched and possible trades and don't come back type of scenarios if we get swept. These guys came to play. We knew we were shorthanded, and I will tell you, we could go over each individual performance, but Ralph Hannon was untouchable for 2 straight games.
Now, I saw the box score. I obviously wasn't there, and I saw something like 7 strikeouts in softball.
That is correct.
I mean, Bobby, I don't remember. I don't know who was
doubleheader.
pitching the last time somebody had 7 strikeouts in a doubleheader. I mean,
That since Nathan Matesh.
right. I mean, that's ridiculous. 7 strikeouts.
I mean, yes, you're right. The number was 7. Michael Stanley Rishke, fresh off retirement comeback, did account for 6 of those Ks.
Well, he never signed his retirement papers like Bernie Williams.
Called a hiatus form.
Right.
And he went down multiple times. I believe he may have had the hat trick, but there were also 4 other key situation strikeouts. And you want to know something? The Turtles got a great lineup. They got very solid pitching with Mike. He pitched great. We didn't score a ton of runs. We just did everything we had to do to make sure we won.
So you won 4-3 and 3-1. So
Right.
obviously these losses are not on Mikey, obviously. I mean, he gave up 7 runs in 2 games. What did you do defensively? Who did you play in center field, first of all?
We moved our right fielder, Zeke Dweck, to center. We put Hanono, a utility man, the second coming of Bryce Harper, I might add, in left field. We moved old veterans V. Goldberg from short center to right. and we took Mr. A.B. Salem's lot and put him up the middle.
So really, even though you were so shorthanded, you took a no-no, basically utility man. So you didn't disturb your infield that much, except for Zvi moving out.
Correct.
So Irv, I had you predicted as putting Irv in the outfield, but I guess you kept him at second. You're at first. Mocas stayed at third. Henry at short. So everything was status quo on the infield. Really.
Status quo. As a matter of fact, I can't imagine not having my man Irv to my right year after year. Secondly, I thought
you two are always together.
Always. I love that guy. Secondly, I was afraid if I put him in right, he'd fall into one of those holes out there and
Never
recover him for the rest of the season. So we kept him on the infield. The guy played unbelievable. A.B. Salem was unbelievable at short center. I also want to mention this guy, Isaac Seton, kept Hannon in this rhythm for 2 straight games, taking, I'm not even kidding you, 20 foul balls off his chest, head, face, neck, breast, chest, and head. And the guy was beaten to a pulp, and he did unbelievable.
By the way, I mean, we mentioned Hannon, it was unhittable, and really the outfield, you'd think everybody out of position, Zvi and right, really didn't get tested that much with any gap shots. So it was a tribute to Ralph's pitching. It was just, you know, he was coming in. It was a lot of routine fly balls, and you know, so you think that is a very tough outfield to play. Also in Memorial 3,
we were very worried about that. They got a lot of great hitters like Zolta and Eddie Rishti and Lee and you want to know something? I can't speak for the box scores. I don't know offhand because the website has been down.
Well, we submitted, so we have a box score right here, as a matter of fact.
But I believe combined, they couldn't have been more than 4 for 30 on the day.
Well, we'll give you the numbers right now. Who do we want?
Let's say Jaime to start. I would imagine 0 for the day.
Jaime Shama, 0 for 3 in game 1. And let's see what we did in game 2. 1 for 3. So it was 1 for 6 on the day.
Okay.
A lot of ones. Lee Zakaria was 1 for 3 and 2 for 4. He had a decent day Sunday. I mean, nobody really put up big numbers. Even Eddie Rishti, 2 for 3. But the bottom line is 2 for 3 and 0 for 3. But they're all singles, and really
a couple of those hits were errors on the infield throws and whatever. Anyway, they never really threatened. I mean, I think at one point in game 2, late in the game, they managed to come back from a 3-1 deficit, tie it up, but we scored quick and took the lead, and that was
really,
it.
I think the only threat was the home plate umpire.
You're right. I believe he threatened to take Mikey's beefsteak away after the game. So Mikey went berserk on the guy. I don't know if you heard or got any reports, but it looked like Godzilla on a rampage, and the ump actually ran for his life. So both of them. Usually one of them starts protecting. They
sticks up for the other.
They started running, and then Sonny got in, started throwing all kinds of legal jargon at the
Really?
I'll sue you, I'll eat you. It was back and forth between the two of them. Mayhem.
They should have called it. Was it Eshko's friend Kevin? Because they could have called Eshko.
Yeah, it was.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
I never saw these 2 guys. I never had.
Well, they're all new, except these are the new crew. They work Memorial 3, so
Right.
That's their beat.
Those friends.
Yeah.
Whether they're there this week, we'll see. But so once again.
Well, first of all, we got to say that without his main players, Ralph Hannon stepped up and took a team with only 10 guys, I assume.
10 guys.
And not just any 10 guys. You're missing your first-round pick and your left fielder.
Right.
And he took the ball and he basically won them 2 games. Of course, a team effort, but this guy was on the mound dominating on Sunday.
Dominating. Very few walks on the day. I can't even maybe Zolta may have had 1 or 2 walks in key situations, but we got out of those jams. But the guy was just on fire. Every pitch hard, down and in, up and away, guys swinging and missing, fouling off. No one threatened, and nobody got any big hits. Like, there was never a gapper shot all day.
Wow.
And like you said, Bob, the outfield didn't have to be tested. They made the plays They're professional ball players. This is not a babysitting service. It's guys are going to come up. They want their shot in the field. They got it. They proved themselves. And we now know that, you know, if we're shorthanded, we're going to be okay.
Well, I really think it goes to show the depth of the league nowadays. You know, I mean, when you can stick a 11th round pick like Leo Anono and not really lose a beat, or you know, there's just guys that step up to the plate. A.B. Salem, to his credit, always could field. You know, he's never really gotten a shot full time, but he produces every time he gets.
Yeah, he always somehow gets it.
Yeah,
third last year.
Yeah, he gets a short center. I mean, you know, he has a label as being a catcher on insane, but I mean, really, the guy produces. So, you know, everybody talks about replacements. So I think everybody who gets a shot to perform is going to produce, and that's what makes it.
Now, speaking of trades, there were a lot of rumors, including with the Whiplash organization. So if we have the general manager right here, are there any changes that you're going to be making, or are you so thrilled right now?
No, you know what? We explored a couple of options. You know, going into our second week, because we had a bye. You know, we wanted to explore the fact that we were going to be missing these two guys. You guys predicted us to get swept. You know what? We had our doubts. Missing Farka and Billy in the outfield, you got to think the most you're going to do is win one and get lucky doing that. So I had to think as a GM, can I move someone now before it's too late? Especially, I will be honest, I was looking, you know, I did get the inquiries about Farka. I never would want to trade him. He's the star of my team, but he was away that week. I was getting offers from multiple teams for him, and I was getting offers to trade him and have that player for that week, where, you know, Farka would be out for the week, but he'd come report back to his new team fresh the following week. Bottom line, my co-GM, Hank Shalom,
the Hammer,
he convinced me not to do this, and it actually turned out to be.
Now, my sources deep within your organization are telling me that Hank was actually hammering on the keyboard and looking up flights to get Farka home from wherever he was, and perhaps Farka could have made it home in time for the game.
Well, if you really went deep within our organization, and I did some intel on my own, Farka, I hope you're watching this. Farka went to the Dominican Republic with Billy, second honeymoon, okay? Bachelor party. And we heard that the accommodations was such garbage that on Friday morning, they left the Dominican and went to Miami for the weekend.
Really?
So we were in our glory. When we found out this, we said, okay, he's here. We could get it. He'll be back for the game. Somehow, some way, the guy was stuck in South Beach, and you know, he just didn't make it back, but we prevailed without him.
So perhaps some discipline coming down from the front office.
Yes, I actually told him to report to Whiplash Punta Cana division and scout out some talent, and if we ever needed his or Billy's services again, they'd be sent over to the Santo Domingo area of Whiplash. But we're happy to have won those games, and they'll be back this week.
Came in like 3-1.
First place at 3-1, and Mount Kilimanjaro over here is now dormant and very quiet right now.
Changing the name legally to Mount Vesuvius that has not erupted since 79 AD.
It's been a long time.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it can't erupt at any given moment.
Molten lava brewing in
now,
the veins.
It remains to be seen whether this could carry over to a full team. Now you had the youngsters proving to be hungry and willing to produce, and now they're going back on the bench. We'll see if things continue. So
yeah, well, you know what? I will be shorthanded this week again.
Once again.
Yep.
Who's missing?
Wow. No pun intended. Shorthanded. We have Irv missing a week. Taking a little vacation. His wife's about to give birth in a few weeks, so they're doing a little Caribbean stint. And I gave him the weekend off to enjoy.
So it looks like A.B. Salem might be getting another gig at second. Or?
No, A.B. Salem has yet to be determined, and I'm missing.
Three will play at second.
I'm missing Zeke Dweck.
Oh wow,
Zeke Dweck.
So
you have a no. So no big deal.
So we will maneuver.
We'll work it out.
Oh, so
Right.
that's-
So
Now let's talk about your outfield in general. When you have the full squad, are you sticking with Farka in center, or are you moving Billy Miz to center, as some reports have indicated?
no, the reports of Farka's demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Okay.
All right, Farka
Mark
is
Twain quotes now on my left over here.
Farka is my guy. I'm going with Farka. The guy's the star. He's the I picked him 10 in my draft. It could have been 9 or 10 between him and Hank. I'm going with Farka in center until the organization feels that he no longer can play that position. I don't think that's the case. I know he can do it. He'll be out there. But in the past, he has been able to move to a left or right for other players like David Franco when I was with the
Right.
All right, so you have
Sacred Hearts
you have a good alternative in Billy Miz. So no.
And by the way, Zeke Dweck,
oh yeah,
he played center last week, and the guy was flawless. So just in case.
all right, you covered. So we'll,
Options upon options.
we'll
for
talk
Whiplash.
about your matchup a little bit later. Now we're going to swing over
Smile.
to the other side of the parking lot, where the big story of the day was the Royals.
Yes. Nice shirts, the Royals.
Yes,
by the way.
Royals
Beautiful lettering.
versus the Angels. And I'm wearing this shirt in support of my friend Maurice Haber,
Okay.
who's been getting numerous threats across the globe, not just here in KC. Legendary Royal George Brett
Yeah.
has started a campaign. Maurice must go. He's going to hit the airwaves in KC. And so also Al Jazeera is reporting death threats because the way he's been treating Malak. Not a good day for, not a good week for Maurice Haber.
Okay. Well.
And the result, we had him as 2 automatic wins last week against a depleted Angel franchise.
Only because they were depleted. I happen
Yes.
to think the Angels are better than the Royals,
Yes,
but without the Angels showing up, when you have 8 guys,
well,
it's
first
hard to
of all,
pick that team.
let me just say this. I was at that game, and I
Who
got
was
to,
missing? Wait, first let's go.
Oh, they're missing their center fielder,
Sam
the center fielder Sam Michon, second baseman Mark Baraja, right fielder Louis Franco, and starting pitcher Moses, who was pitching brilliantly the first 3 games of the year. So we had to actually give them a player to field the team, and so I got to the game, the end of the first game, and I just got there. It was mercy, 17-2,
Okay.
and no great surprise. And but the ironic part about the whole thing, you looked at the Angel bench after the first game. They were laughing and having a good time, and no pressure, no nothing. I guess really they said, "What are we going to do? We're here. If we lose, we lose. I mean, we can't expect to win."
Right.
And really, the pressure was on the Royals. All the pressure was on the Royals. So the second game, they started out, it was a very close game, 1-0, 1-1, and the Angels took a 4-1 lead going into the 5th. Unbelievable. First of all, they had Albert Gamal in center field. As you know, no speedster there. They had, who was playing left field? They had Nemi Katz.
What are you talking about? Oh, God. I believe you for a second.
Well, he failed to mention what he was doing in left. There was a hot dog stand open in left, right, wheeling
No,
around.
actually, they had Wasser in left, Albert Gamal in center, and who was in right? Who was on this team? I got to check but whatever it is, they're playing with 9 guys, and they took
Louis Master in there?
Louis Mastery's on the other team that they played. Hold on.
Oh, Louis David. Louis Franco.
No, he was away.
He was away. Right. Okay.
Let's see here. Angels.
17-2. That's what I had Whiplash going down as, by the way.
Let's see. Ariel Beavis and right.
Okay.
So really makeshift team all over the place. So they took a 4-1 lead, and Bawabe was pitching, and we got into the 6th inning, and which is really, if Maurice's team does not make the playoffs, we can attribute it to this inning. Bawabe started getting a little tired, walked a couple of guys, a couple of hits. All of a sudden, it's 4-3, first and third, nobody out.
Wow.
Yeah, in the sixth inning, Nathan Towell's up. He hits
nobody out.
Yeah.
First and third. Okay. Wow.
All right, so now it's 4-3. The momentum's completely. You felt the game turning around. Nathan, it's a one-hopper to Bawabe's left towards the first baseline. You think Bawabe was going to, Eshko's on third, Joe Eshko. You think Bawabe was going to go to first, get the automatic out. He throws to second, gets the runner from first to second, and inexplicably, Eshko decides to start running. Eliezer throws a bullet from second to home. Luis Patej makes the play, gets him out, and tagged him out. And he was before the next guy flied out to end the inning.
Who was the next guy? Do you remember or no?
After Nathan?
Yeah.
It might have been Louis Haber, I think.
Okay.
Or no, Jackie Haber. Jackie Haber flied out, or
Because he could have been up with a man on third and one out. It's the tying run, basically.
I mean, I don't even know. Honestly, nobody really knows what Eshko was doing in that situation. Because a guy with his speed should have scored with ease if he left, as soon as Bawabe went to second, especially when he's already towards first. He went all the way to second, and the throw came home. I mean, the guy should have been beat it by 25 feet, but he was out. He either got decided not to run until Eliezer had the ball, whatever.
Wow.
But then they went down 1-2-3 the next inning, and needless to say, the Angels were in ecstasy coming out with a split.
Wow, for sure. I mean, again, another team shorthanded, playing a desperate team in Kansas City that really needed the 2 wins.
Right, and now they got the full team back. And,
so, in your opinion, watching this, you felt Eshko should have ran, but he clearly
well, the right move to do is as soon as he saw. Another thing is Bawabe didn't even look back. He didn't even look to see the runner. So
right.
He was basically either conceding the run or whatever. Right? He's trying to get the double play. He either didn't even know the runner was a third, whatever the case may be. So, but his big mistake was the second he saw the throw go to second. He should have been bolted home. He would have.
Wow.
If that was the case, he would have scored very easily. So he must have either waited or hesitated or whatever the case. But he was out very easily, and so it was. So if they missed the playoffs, on a situation like that, it's going to be very deflating. So Maurice obviously burning up the phone lines.
It's still very early in the season.
I know, but when you expected to win 2 games and you end up splitting with the team, that it only gets harder the rest of the way. That you can't. And the week before they played Leonard Skinner without A.B. Saka and got swept.
Right.
So they got a lot of tough teams probably coming up, and we'll talk about that.
Yours truly plays them this week.
Oh, okay. So we'll see. Somebody's got to.
You have a chance to destroy them right now. That means
And
you have a chance to send Haber into major panic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, we're not taking anything lightly. I know we'll get to the week's predictions, but we will not take them lightly. And I expect that Farka and Billy will put on a very big show this week to show that they're worthy of even staying in my
wearing the Whiplash uniform. I noticed you didn't put down the broom yet, so that must be
no. You know what? It's
prediction of what your prediction will be.
It's like it's called the foreshadowing of the doubt.
Okay, so there you go. You have a chance to bury.
I may start sweeping Bobby into the corner wearing that Royals shirt.
It's in support of my good friend Maurice Haber. The best captain that's never won.
I'm waiting for the phone to ring.
By the way, we might add another bright spot on the Royals once again is Max Shadid, which is brilliantly. He's 2-3 runs a game. He's very, very tough right now. So they have to figure the situation out.
Now, Bobby, we're
on
hearing
the block.
Trade rumors left and right with this team, including some of their stars like Jimmy Malak is in every trade rumor. Everyone. He's going to every team. So
yeah, I know. But again, as we all know, and Saban can attribute this. Dealing with Maurice Haber is
not possible. Actually,
you want to know something? I happen to mesh with that guy. As nuts as he is, I think he's a very good captain. This is my thought. he picks guys to spite them. He took Jimmy when Jimmy explicitly told him basically not to pick him. If you recall, of one Eddie Richty, part of the Turtles organization, who we just happened to sweep, was begging me to get back onto the squad after that sweep, but I sent him packing. But Jimmy made it very clear that he wanted to pitch and only pitch. Maybe he would not have got that chance, but Haber took Max Yadid, and then he took Jimmy. At the draft, Jimmy was telling him, "Why did you pick me?" And there was havoc going on from that day. And if you look, I believe Jimmy's probably hitting 700. Yet, what kind of turmoil is going on in that organization where the captain and GM wants to get rid of the only guy that's hitting?
Yeah, I don't know. I just see those guys have been going at it for years already from every league that they've been in. I don't understand why.
It's that Middle Eastern, old Beirut mentality that you have. It's like an old Tole game in 1975 Beirut.
But when you watch the old Tole game, you think they're cursing, but they like each other at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, they'll smear hummus on each other and have a cup of Turkish coffee.
Arak,
Right, that too. In the coffee.
I think always, like we always joke, but I don't think Malak's going anywhere. And I think it's just one of these guys always going to be in trade rumors.
You got to get something really good to give up Malak. To give up that hitter in the middle of your lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously somebody in that round. But I'm just saying, it's just probably Maurice Haber always thinks he's getting screwed in every trade.
He is impossible to trade with. He will not make a trade.
I know that.
Period.
Right.
Maurice, call in and prove us wrong. Jarrell, call in.
Next.
So we'll see. I mean, I know he's been the trading deadline, as you mentioned, is less than 48 hours away. So we'll see if anything materializes by then. But I think, as we like to say, it's a lot of hot air that just goes on. So now we're going to shoot over to the other side of town.
Right.
And NRJ playing his home away from home.
The friendly confines of Fireman's West.
And once again, a SRO crowd for Rock Beaches.
SRO, wow. Standing room only.
Yes, and Norman, why don't you tell us? I mean, really, when you're playing at Fireman's West, really, the other teams might as well not show up.
It's amazing. We do great over there. I don't know why. It's just a great field, the playground, the fans, like you said. Ticket prices on the secondary market were wild for this one. But we caught a huge break in that we played Leonard Skinner without A.B. Saka, their starting pitcher. So we got to face Eshko, which is no pleasure, no walk in the park. But A.B. Saka is, probably the best pitcher in the league. So we definitely caught a break. And, we showed up to the field. We were ready to go. And we actually fell behind 1-0 in the top of the first via a very deep sac fly that we thought was going to be a home run. But luckily, NRJ caught it in foul territory playing first base and was unable to throw the guy out there.
Very wide foul territory, by the way, this week. I believe up until Monmouth Road, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we came right back in the bottom of the first, got the run right back, and from there we never trailed again. We kept tacking on, and Jigga Jamal, with a 2-run bomb to left field to take the game and put it out of question, was the highlight of the year so far. Seeing him round second and almost collapse. Round third, and I happened to be coaching third. Usually Chucky coaches third, but Chucky was on deck. So I'm coaching third, and I'm waving him home. He made eye contact with me as he's rounding third and stumbling as he's rounding. And he made eye contact as if to ask, are you for real right now? What the hell's going on?
Well, we might add,
who did he hit that off?
He hit it off of Eshko. It went over Mann's head in left field, and then Mann proceeded to misplay the ball a few times. Then threw it into Morris, who Morris dropped the ball on the relay, and that's when Jigga got sent home. So,
as we quoting Jigga, he claims the ball has just landed and followed him to D.C. So obviously a slimmed down Jigga able to go around the bases.
Yes, barely able to go around. Very slimmed down, but still barely able to go around the bases. But
is Jigga part of the Douglas Jamal organization? And
he is, and you know, he brought his bat this week as well. So unbelievable job by him. Maya Safdie, by the way, maybe he should win the Cy Young. It's way too early for that. I know you have an argument for your pitcher, but if Maya Safdie does not win the Gold Glove as pitcher, I'll be shocked. This guy makes every play, covers ground like a middle infielder. It's crazy the plays that he makes, and made a couple of dandies. Now in the next game, Game 2 is the one that got a little bit more interesting because Game 1 was a 4-1 final. Game 2, we took a 4-0 lead off the bat. They came back, made it 4-3. We extended it to 7-3 in the last inning, okay? They're coming up in the bottom of the 7th. They get a couple of men on the bottom of their order on, and up steps the top of their order. Morris Shamma comes to the plate with 2 men on as the go-ahead run. Men on the corners, 2 outs, Morris Shamma. Now we're going 4 outfielders, and we don't know what we're doing. We see the 7-3 lead become 7-5, and all with 2 outs, they rally. And now Morris comes up, the last guy on the team we want to see. Ground ball to Maya Safdie, game over.
Oh, really?
Thank God.
What was the situation?
Men on the corners.
First and third.
Morris was the go-ahead run.
And Franco on deck.
So we got out of there very quickly once that happened. We escaped, thank God, because we all know what Morris is capable of doing. Now, there were rampant rumors about this team making a trade of A.B. Saka to the point where we were showing up. We did not know if Albert Gamal is going to be on this team, Jimmy Malak is going to be on this team, and we heard so many different rumors, and none of them was there, and A.B. Saka was not there, and I don't know if they're going to make a trade now or not.
You know what? I was involved in some of those talks. I do not believe a trade will be made for him. It's easy to say after week 1 when they swept that they don't need A.B. Saka and Eshko was going to take them to the promised land. They took A.B. Saka. The guy's coming off of his suspension. He has a lot to prove. But I would not be surprised if they moved Eshko.
Now, exactly. What do you think? Because A.B. Saka could get them any slugger they want, and they feel they need a bat. What do you think Eshko could get them?
Well, look, believe it or not, Eshko is still a decent leadoff man, and he can still play right or left field. I think probably as good as almost anyone.
I don't know about that. Come on.
He's still a spark.
So many surgeries. I don't know if he's going to be able to get in the gap.
But he's, you know what? He's
left field is 22 years old.
You're right, but he's still got that spunk, that fast.
Yeah, but he had that playing recklessly. I don't know if he's going to do that anymore with those.
Well, that's the thing. I don't believe he even wants
I think he's
that.
short center fielder or a pitcher. That's his.
Yeah, I think if he gets traded, the team that trades for him is going to want him to pitch.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I don't think anybody's really going to give up a monster slugger or somebody that's going to make such a difference in that organization.
Right.
You're not getting a number 4 hitter for that pick.
No, but they're desperate for offense. I mean, really, there's really no major threats in that lineup. You know, I mean, Mo Shamma, even when he gets up, it's it's going to be a single, a double. It's not, you're not going to have those game breakers like Gamal or Steven Safdie or somebody like that.
Well, I mean, look, my old friend Franco, who I once drafted on the Sacred Hearts team, scared hitless, by the way. I like how you call it Sacred Hearts, but you know what? Franco's been out a couple of years, but he still could be the guy to smash.
Still playing great center field.
Yeah.
So that's but really, and Mann is a very solid player. Jake Dwight, they just, they need a big bat, and to have 2 pitchers, and Eshko really wants to pitch. He got a lot of confidence after week 1.
And by the way, he pitched well. Even Game 2, we scored 7 runs. They were all with 2 outs, and 5 of the runs were on misplayed errors.
They had a lot of walks. Behind the count.
He was not behind the count. He had a couple of walks, not much. Franco actually misplayed a ball. He broke in what ended up being a 3-run homer by David Casson. You never see that. And like I said, man misplayed a ball. They did not field that well. So Eshko actually pitched well.
There's talk that Eshko shut down Gabe and Jack Abadi for the most part.
Gabe and Jack did not have the first 2 weeks. They didn't get out once. You saw they were great against you, and the rest of the team did nothing.
Right.
And this week they were not great, and the rest of the team stepped up. You know, we have more people than that in our lineup. Carlos had a great game. My brother Joseph, Harari. You know, the lineup is long with DK with the home run. But Gabe and Jack did not have their monster games.
Right. So I know Jack Jamal is definitely going to be working the phones the next 48 hours, try to pull something off. I don't see how he could possibly leave these two guys just on the team. I mean, he's got to do something.
Unless you think A.B. Saka brings them that bat that they're looking for.
Yeah, but I don't know how you can trade a guy before he even pitches for you. I mean, you could definitely listen. A.B. Saka.
No, I'm saying you don't trade anybody. And now you have A.B. batting fifth behind Franco.
Yeah, you could probably do something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, what's his lifetime average? Is probably 250.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not the threat.
No, if he's going to get a bat, it's going to be because of his pitching ability.
And at this point, I think people are going to probably look to try to use some of those, subpar teams as the beating grounds. And if they know that the trading deadline's over and there's turmoil in that organization, Eshko's not going to want to be on the field. AB's going to be the only pitcher, and then they're not going to score runs. They could be
out of it.
The
ironic part about it, you have two organizations, the Angels and who cares, with a lot of offense, a lot of depth, no pitching, really. So there could be an option over there. I mean,
they have a ton of offense.
Yeah,
the Angels have offense at every position. Even if they get Eshko and trade not a main guy, forget Gamal, but we talk about a middle of the road guy.
Who's Max something's pitcher?
Jeffrey Saka.
Oh, so
lights out. No, really, it's really Sandy Towell's team and Michon's team. Those are the teams that have the excess, offense that can afford and need the pitching. So. But again, you have Bawabe. Is the difference between Bawabe and Eshko so great? It might not be to warrant a trade, And if you're going to get an A.B. Saka, you're going to have to give up a Gamal. I don't think you can get anything less than that. So really, it's going to be interesting to see how what the teams do. But clearly, we're going to talk about who cares. I mean, they have a major obstacle they got to deal with now. They don't have a pitcher, and they don't have a catcher. They don't, so they got to figure out what they're going to do. I don't know if Salim's a full-time answer as a pitcher.
Self-hitting, no pitcher, no catcher.
So
you know what? Sammy Towell should be begging Jack Jamal
for Eshko even.
For any of that. Well, he should probably try to swing a trade Salim and somebody for A.B. Saka.
I don't think Skinner is going to trade A.B. Saka.
Well, then they're going to see.
In other words, they're thinking, okay, our offense isn't great, but let me get into the playoffs. I already have 2 wins.
You're right. They're 2-2.
And now give me
if they split the whole way, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And AB's tough in the playoffs. In a short series, he might be.
Yeah.
And coming into his own, physically. So.
But I think Sammy, if you can't get A.B. Saka, should be begging for Eshko even if he has no pitcher.
I don't know if that's the answer, especially when you have Mavora, who should still be able to pitch one game.
He can't pitch. He's not
pitching.
I don't know if he wants
game?
to pitch anymore.
See, then he
can't physically. He's not doing it. He's not even getting through a first game. I don't know.
Did he pitch the first game? You want to take us through those games?
Well, he was off this week. He was
Right.
off this week, but the week before that, he took himself out and the fifth, sixth inning, whatever it was, and that was it. So Salim, unless you say, they have a very solid backup third baseman in Sali and Towell, so they're not hurting there if they put Salim as a pitcher. But is he really a pitcher that can take you all the way? I mean, that's a remains to be
And what do you do with Mavora? You trade him or you put him in a position?
Well, the question is with Mavora, who's ever going to trade for him? What do you do with him?
Well, you know what? He could still play right field.
If the team has an opening for right field,
You know what? Then I'm not making trades for them, but not a bad deal for Sammy would be trying to get A.B. Saka for a package of Mavora and Salim.
Well, I believe they were talking about that. There was rumors about that,
And then Skinner gets those two guys,
Who
two
could
bats.
both hit.
Yeah, and then but they already have so much depth in the outfield. They have very good outfield. What do you do with Memorial?
Well, then
The
you
age
put
or
them at
You
short
put them where
center.
they have a spot. Second
Right.
base, short center, I don't know, whatever.
The rumor has it that they were trying to package a deal, Leonard Skinner to get Malak.
Okay.
A three-way trade, maybe for Salim, something like that.
There was definitely talks of that. A couple of my players potentially could have been involved in that, but
As usual, nothing transpires like that. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, after the whiplash sweep of the Turtles, are they rumored? Trader Jack, we know as a quick, pulls the trigger very quickly. Is he rumored to be trading anybody?
Well, the problem is there's too many ties in that organization. Who do you get rid of? I'm saying you can't. Guys are untouchable.
Who leads the league in the history of this league in getting traded or forcing a trade every single year?
H.
Yeah, he's on the Turtles. They're 2-4. They're one sweep away from H walking out. We know the deal here.
Yeah,
2-6,
H.
he's out.
they should
H
change
to
the
Leonard
name
Skinner.
to Preparation H.
H
Just to
should
be
go.
prepared.
About H to Leonard Skinner. Anybody that can get back?
Right, put H with Morris. He'll be happy.
My
But who would they
recommendation,
give back to?
my recommendation was, instead of hearing all the crying every year, any team that drafts Mo Shama automatically gets Jaime
No,
as a fourth round.
terrible idea.
Why?
Because don't join the league. First of all, he hasn't complained this year. He has not complained this year. So this is all based on his reputation
Right.
and based on his history, which is true. I've been on a team with him that he walked off, so nothing is not true. But this year he hasn't complained. But you're a man. You get drafted. You're on a good team. You're on a bad team. You're on that team. By the way, if your son came home in DSN and was crying about what team he was on, he wasn't with his friend, you beat the crap out of him, no?
You have a black ass.
Yeah, so.
Well, who can they get back in the trade potentially? How's Jay-Z's outfield?
You've got Nathan Zolta, Sonny, and in right field, A.B. Dweck now.
They were
maybe
solid.
they could get, like, Jake Dweck. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we played them. They were very solid out there.
We were very high on Jay-Z's team coming into the year. So I still think they're going to put it.
But they didn't give up a lot of runs, so it's
really the
H
offense
is
is
bat, so you can't
Yeah.
really trade him, really. He's a good bat. Maybe he didn't hit well this week, but
Who did he play? Third? He played. What did he play?
H.
What did he play? Third?
Jaime played third, made pretty much all the plays. Maybe a throwing error here and there, which I think every infielder, on that side of the field on both teams made errors this week. Throwing. Everybody making clean plays, but it seemed that when they got the ball hit too hard at them, and they had all the time in the world to throw it, it was a bad throw.
Right.
Both teams. Eddie Rishke threw one 20 feet over his first baseman's head. Henry, same thing. Morris Casson. Even
Wow.
A.B. Salem did it.
you can't even blame the field because he's saying they had time.
They made the
fielded
plays,
it.
and they just had too much time.
All right. So we'll talk about them a little later. Let's shoot over to the other side of Firemen's and the Red Hot Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah.
Versus Ali Marshall's A team. And I said there's one thing we got to say. Jeffrey Sack is on his A game right now. And Magical Mystery Tour looks like the most balanced team in the league.
Yeah, they look very strong. We knew they were strong from the draft. They made the big trade. They loaded up with players, and they bailed out that Jeffrey dropped to become a third-round pick and a middle of the third-round pick. So they got Jeffrey, Steven Safdie, Zach Ashkenazi, and Joe Chira.
And there was rumors Jeffrey was trying to talk his way out of being drafted in that.
At the draft,
organization.
those are the rumors, 100%.
So,
It's not a rumor.
It's fact.
Yes.
maybe he knew they were going with the tie-dye outfit, and I wanted to be safe.
Yeah, I don't know how you approved that design, Bobby, but that I was dizzy playing against this team.
It's part of the plan, I think.
I think so.
But really, when you look at that team, Jeffrey pitching on the shutout this week. Their outfield is absolutely ridiculous. Nothing's going to fall in. And Max are getting very solid shortstop, makes every single routine play. And you're throwing Elliott Sacker, Steven Safdie, Isaac Gamal. Really just every position just down the
They already said Isaac Amal's a steal of the draft. Elliott Sacker was a steal of last year's draft on the Helter
Still went
Skelter
fairly late this year.
He went late this year. They're sharing the time and right, Steven and Elliott Sacker, and the other one's playing first base or second base.
Who's at third base again?
Oh, I forgot.
No, it's
Nathan Batesh.
Oh, Nathan Batesh.
He's a leadoff
So
man.
he's playing great, hitting and fielding. So with that defense and with Jeffrey pitching, Zach Ashkenazi in left having outstanding offensive year as well as defensive year.
Speaking of trades that we're talking about all night, what do you think of Ali's trade at the draft? And he had multiple trades. And then what do you think of his pick of JT at that time? What were you? Another captain.
I understood what Ali was trying to do. I mean, I believe that when you're the first pick of the draft, if you want to be captain, you're going to kind of, I mean, even if you're not captain, when you're the first pick, automatically your team is going to not pick again till 18.
Right.
So he had to do something. I mean, who would he have ended up with at 18? Someone much less, of a talent than Jackie Dallas.
For sure.
So I believe he kind of did the right thing. I just think he got involved with too many guys like Haber who conned the hell out of him. Fifth Avenue salesman,
I think the Turtles got the best of him also.
The Turtles got the best of him.
For sure.
I think they took advantage because, Ali is used to just coming to the field, performing, being the best in the league, and not having to deal with the day-to-day dealings of Fifth Avenue salesmen.
But Ali has been a captain before and knows that if you're a captain, you have to deal with the Fifth Avenue salesman.
I believe this will be Ali's last stint.
Breaking news. Saban reporting Ali's final captainship.
Not a report, just a hunch.
Okay, gotcha. So basically, Ali with his team of JT and the others never had a lead in the doubleheader over here. In the first game, they jumped out ahead and they scored, I think, in the first 3 or 4 innings. Moni Abadi with a monster day. Something to note on Ali's team: your boy, Big Sully, went 5 for 6, and he bats after JT and Ali. And yet he only had 1 ribby, which means 1.
None of those guys were on base.
Right.
Sully is still a premier player in this league.
Yeah.
Probably the best third baseman still in the league. And you got to think that you can't name 10 guys that you'd rather have up, with a men in scoring position than him.
Now, if you tell me he's going to go 5 for 6 with JT and Ali batting right in front of him,
then you got to scold those two.
Yeah.
And, he has to speak up, but that's not his thing. Ali's going to give you his version. He was walked. He should have batted 900. He should have did everything, but he didn't. Otherwise, they would have had runs. If Sully had 5 hits, he should have 5 ribbies.
Yeah.
Because Ali, as the #1 pick, should be on second base every time he's up.
And he scores on anything.
Right.
If you get any hit, Ali will score.
Yeah, I've seen him score on any second from a grounder to shortstop.
Yeah.
So it's look, they still have a very solid team. Just having those 3 guys hitting 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5, you can't get that much better.
I don't think they're a great defensive team, and I don't think. I mean, it's certainly not in the middle of the road, more at the bottom.
I think the bottom of their lineup, after 3, 4, 5, is very weak.
Extremely weak.
Which is the problem with a lot of teams. Some people say that's the problem with my team also, but it seems like they are not producing at all this year.
Starting from our co-host down, from DougLESS down,
Douglas, I think, rounded into a minimum of 1, possibly 2 double plays. Would have been 3, but there were already 2 outs on his next routine grounder.
They cut him a mental break.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then in game 2, Jeffrey pitched his second shutout of 2 weeks.
Down. Big day for Zach Ashkenazi, 6 for 7.
Big day for Moni also.
By the way, Moni Abadi playing outstanding short center fielder. And you know, he's a shortstop playing short center field, which is amazing. It's another guy, so they really have a lot of depth. Charlie Citron having a big offensive year, also. Labo, really, if you look at it, the team is probably the team to beat right now.
They're flying right now,
especially with an elite pitcher. So you know that's going to be a tough out the rest of the way.
They're 4-2, so they're in second place behind first place Whiplash over here. But yeah, they seem to be clicking on all cylinders: offense, defense, and pitching. They're feeling very good right now, definitely.
Yeah, and rightly so. And Ali, a lot of question marks. I haven't really heard him involved in any trade rumors. So I don't know if he's tied at Fifth Avenue. Unless
he probably said, "Let me stay away."
Unless he's involved in the trade, I don't think he's.
I think I actually heard, you know, he was almost about to trade JT for Nathan Zolta, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen now.
So, I don't know. A lot of stuff going on, but clearly his team has got a lot of problems. I think going ahead the rest of the way. All right, so let's get to this week's. By the way, we failed to mention the players of the week this week are Zach Ashkenazi and David Cassid.
Oh wow!
DK had a big day.
DK had a monster day, got the game ball, and excellent left field as well.
I'm actually going to step in here. I was actually hoping to hear my pitcher Ralph Hannon is part of that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very shocked knowing that. You know, you guys knowing that
he mentioned those scored the first game
3-1,
4-3, and 3-1.
We considered them actually.
Well, would you care to reconsider?
Who was the first one? Who went DK? Who was the first?
Zach Ashkenazi. And, Zach was 6 for 7. You know.
Okay.
And DK. We'll consider that. All right.
Ralph, I tried.
All right.
That big bonus check is not coming to you, Ralph. Sorry.
Now, we're going to start off on Memorial 1 this coming week, and we have the Red Hot Magical Mystery Tours we talked about against the struggling Who Cares, and this could be a really, really tough matchup for Who Cares, and you know, if I don't know how they're going to go. I don't see them winning the game here, so I imagine he's going to sweep them.
I see Who Cares winning a game.
Really?
I think they have too many guys on their team to just lay down and die, and perhaps Magical Mystery a little too confident early in the year. You never know. I'll go with the split over there.
I'm going to go with a split, even though I agree they seem to be a very tough team. I am not yet 100% sold on their offense. I could see Saka being lights out, but you named a couple of guys that, like Joe Chira, great all-around player, Zach Ashkenazi, great all-around player, but do they have enough to put a bomb in the gap to end the game? Not sure of it yet. Not saying they can't early in the season.
Fair enough. When I played them, their offense was not crazy. They didn't hit the cover of the ball. They do have that one big bopper in Steven Safety that can hit the ball further than anyone. But very good point that they're not scoring a lot of runs.
But unfortunately, they don't need to score more than 3 or 4, which I think they could do with the Salim combination. Or before, I don't know who's going to end up pitching. Unless the trade is made the next 48 hours, we're assuming it's Salim, but we'll see. Again, it could be Eshko over there if something happens. So I'm going with sweep, and we got 2 splits. And now the next game is a Memorial 2 relocated from Memorial 3, making its debut this
premiere.
By the way, it's supposed to be like 81 degrees on Sunday, so that means
99
a Memorial 2
with bugs and mosquitoes.
With Myers beard that's 190.
Well, lock ball home tonight. Maybe you can shave it.
You're right. So we'll make sure.
Meyer might go 49 days. I don't know what his
I've seen that guy walking on Shabbat. He's black as they come. So
I actually wanted to follow up on a little incident after our game a couple of weeks ago. He was very under the weather and dehydrated, passed out on the side. Is he okay? Did he fully recover?
That's not the last time he collapsed.
He collapsed since then. Well, I mean, I happened to turn the corner at Memorial 1 and see a crowd, and I didn't know what it was. And when I saw him laying there, sweating to death.
Saban called him the red heifer.
I referred to him as the red heifer. And he just looked like the old cow that we've been looking for without a blemish. But I do wish him a speedy recovery.
Before I show him, there was no drinks at the field that week, so Meyer was dehydrated, allowing Whiplash to score 6 runs in the
unanswered runs.
But they needed 7 to tie the game, unfortunately.
That game got a little away from us.
So now this is an interesting matchup. You have Rockford Peaches coming off a sweep against a fully stacked Angel team this week.
Yeah, the first week they're bringing a full team.
Yeah. So you got to think those guys are going to be excited to come back to the. I mean, the Angels only 3-3 with all all their weapons, and so.
But 3-3, they haven't fielded a full team.
Right. And Rockford Peaches with Meyer going up against that lineup, I see a very solid split. I think the two teams are too strong to sweep each other.
I tend to agree with you there. I do see a split. I think you have a very solid team. I like that team too. I do see a split.
By the way, let's talk about the Angels. Your good buddy is having an outstanding offensive year by the name of Nehemiah Katz.
Nehemiah,
yeah.
fat black pussycat. Yes, he is. I heard. I mean, I actually saw him.
His outs have been extremely hard. He's been hitting the ball very hard.
You know what? He's a big man, and if he gets the bat on that ball, rest assured it's going to go a long way.
By the way, the other day they put a dead shift on, complete shift for him.
And he went the other way.
He ripped it down the left field line.
Wow.
Got forced out at first, but still was
still close. Bang, bang, play.
No, he's really hitting the ball hard. So.
You know what? He's an underrated player. He's very big, but I've seen him hit some monster shots in the night league that, when he gets a hold of one, it's going to go far.
Even in this league, he's hit some on the Bears 2 years ago. He hit a ball further than I've ever remembered on Dow Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And the Angels really, as we mentioned, haven't had a full team, but nobody really exploding offensively yet with that lineup. So, they could break out 12, 15 runs on any time. So, you just hope it's not this week.
I hope it's not this week, definitely.
But I see definitely a split. I think they're going to be low-scoring games also. Now, over at Fireman's West, probably not the highlight matchup of the year. Leonard Skinner.
Wow, they were just there last week.
Yeah. Well, they got back-to-back games versus the 18. So maybe we should have moved this to Cold Field. But not really a premier matchup. But as they say, somebody's got to win.
But very early in the year for you to say not really a premier matchup. Only week 4.
Yeah. Well, I was
Skinner's 2-2.
I know. I was never sold on Skinner, and
AB Sack is that's why he's on
debut.
West.
Oh yes,
it's his debut. So standing room only.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little rusty myself for week 1. I think until he gets into the groove. I think it's going to be another split. I think Alley's got some good hitters in the lineup. I think they'll playing without Brackett this week, and so I see a split. I think they'll find a way to go.
I see a split. A.B. Sack, how much pitching could he have done in the past year? Probably not much. I think it's going to be a very big week for Alley to try to come back and take advantage of a team with very little hitting and their star main player coming back who hasn't played yet. This is a big advantage for Alley's team. I'm going to go with a sweep for Alley.
Wow!
Whoa!
Yeah. You opened the sentence with a split.
Did I? Well, I'm changing it to a sweep for Alley.
Really?
I'm going with the complete opposite of Saban. I'm saying that Skinner with A.B. Sack are coming back.
Wow.
Yes, he will be a little rusty, but this team is not bad. Jake DeWeck got on base all day. Charles Saka was very good highlight for Skinner last week. Plus their main guys. Franco is now 3 weeks in after taking a couple of years off. I think the infusion of A.B. Saka can help them a lot, even if he's a little rusty early. And I think Skinner beats the A-team because the A-team's bottom of the lineup is not good, and A.B. Saka is not going to let those guys get on base.
Yeah, they probably won't. I think, again, it'll be a little rusty. I think 18 will have enough to get one game, and we'll see. I mean,
So 3 different predictions.
again, all these predictions could change in 48 hours with some different rosters.
We're never right anyway. So
Yeah. I was
change
right
or
on a
not
couple of
change.
sweeps last week.
You were.
Now, I think the matchup of the day is the Fireman's East, and that is the ice-cold KC Royals versus the red-hot Whiplash. And I'll tell you right now, you talk about putting someone in oblivion, you could really put the Royals in at 2-6 into major misery if you come up with a sweep.
You know, after the draft was complete, I thought that they were going to be the toughest team.
Yeah.
I didn't take into consideration that the ship was being run by the maniac himself, Mr. Haber, and the co-captain was Waham Malak from the Saudi Arabian Emirates. And, you know, they're bound to go berserk. And you're right. I mean, I think Haber wants to destroy me personally because when he got swept 2 weeks ago, I was the first one to reach out to him, and he had a tirade on the phone, cursing everyone out and screaming, telling me he could not wait to play me. Well, here's your chance, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to take them lightly. Like I said, I am short a couple guys, and they still have very good hitting and pitching. So
a great pitching matchup, by the way. Max CD versus Ralph Hannon, who are throwing righties. So I think it's going to be very, very low scoring. And I think it's going to be a split. I think that, we'll find a way to win one game. But I think it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be on Whiplash's end. And I think things could turn ugly for the Royal organization, especially if it's after the trading deadline. 2-6.
Well, we are in a ratings business, and I'm rooting for a 2-6 Maurice Haber team. Nothing is better for television than to have Haber on this couch at 2-6. So I'm going Whiplash to sweep. This team doesn't care who shows up, who doesn't show up. They got the big man on the mound, the big man at first base, and I think Whiplash is going to maintain the first place spot, improve to 5-1. While Haber, falls to 2-6.
Now, wouldn't that be a great story?
That would be unbelievable. But I think the whole league is rooting for Whiplash. You have more fans this week than ever before.
The Twitter feeds are going wild in Whiplash Nation, as you want to coin that term.
Really, whoever would have thought that Saban would have a big rooting section?
Yes,
right.
Huge rooting section.
I was the bad guy for 2 straight decades. I am now the poster boy for the good guys.
By the way, in honor of your buddy's birthday this week, David Dash Asher, the first 100 fans are getting Dash bobbleheads.
Oh, nice.
That's a very nice gesture to do.
Yes.
I would love to have that on Jackie Robinson's day to maybe coincide with the actual day itself. We could possibly have Nemi there serving hot dogs and grits. And maybe if Edmund Dwecker's around, we get him and his carcass to come back for a couple of hours and feed the needy.
All right. Also, Mother's Day, by the way, this week. So happy Mother's Day to
Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers.
And
we'll be using little pink bats.
Yes.
YMSL this week.
Should be a beautiful weather once again on Sunday. And Mike, tell us what you thought so far the first few weeks with the umpiring organization. You had no difference to you.
Well, as Meatloaf once said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I've only been in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
So you know what? So far, so good. I'm a healthy 3-1, and I believe the umps are not here to pick sides. They're here to make calls and ump a game, and that's exactly what I overheard one of them telling Mr. Mikey Shalom last week after he threatened to put the ump's grandmother in a basket. But he was right. I mean, we just happened to get the calls. I don't think it was anything personal. Ralph was on, Mikey was on, but to your question, I believe so far the umps have been pretty fair, and you know,
Okay.
it's been working out for us. So
All right. So Norman, another big week coming up this week after you sweep. I'm
Yes.
sure the Jamal clan will be out in full force.
Full force, and this is for all you Peach fans out there. This is our last game in 20 days because we have the bye week and then Shavuot. So if you haven't seen the Peaches live and in person yet, I know you have already, but if you haven't, get out to Memorial 2, very convenient location. Walk 17 miles past Memorial Walk.
you could probably hop on an airboat to take across the swamp to get there.
It'll be 86 degrees with the mosquitoes and the puddles and everything else.
And possibly Richie Braha in the tree
Yes.
somewhere running around.
Richie Braha actually making more appearances
By the way,
after his retirement
Claudie, yes.
than when he does in his playing
He's
days.
there at 8:30
Yes.
again, and Claudie Braha
Yes.
made an appearance at Fireman's West last week.
And funny story, you said hi to Claudie Braha after you walked away. She goes,
Who the hell is that?
I go, you don't know? She goes, I have no idea who the hell that is. This is the legendary NRJ. She goes, NRJ my ass. So,
Maybe she thought he was Ronnie Elway.
but it should be the whole plan should be out. It's a beautiful day, so hopefully we look forward to seeing everybody there on Mother's Day. And say, Bon, we'd like to thank you once again for sharing your knowledge of the YMSL.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to be here. I appreciate it. This was once, you know, one of my favorite places to be in studio with you guys full time. I'll be glad to come back anytime.
Especially after a double-headed loss with that.
We may have to skip.
By the way, he shows up at losses and he threatens his team.
Yes,
Watch
yes.
out, was after a loss.
No, I was there all year.
A lot of losses there.
I changed the name midstream to
Watch out.
Watch Out.
But, and I'd like to say also, unfortunately, Moses Eastman was having a great year before he came down with injury. 3-1.
Is he coming back? Is he?
He's you know, supposedly week to week, but who knows with an injury and his age, if he's you know, when he's going to come back. But really a tough break for Moses.
Any updates on Robert Rednesser? How is he doing?
We are getting our reports from his buddy Jackie Picciotto. He's in rehab. And by the way, to all our viewers out there, if anybody wants to go visit Red, he's in rehab in Long Branch on Bath Avenue. I'd love to see Jackie Picciotto is getting, you know, trying to get people to rally around and help him and give him a lot of push to motivate him to rehab. So if anybody could visit him, it'd be nice and help out. But you know, he's day by day and trying to get better. So
Great.
hopefully he'll come out soon, stronger than ever, and maybe make a comeback.
We would love to see that.
Chachi.
Yeah. Then we'd probably send them poor guy right back.
Back to where he came from.
Right.
It's amazing. Only a couple of years ago he was playing, and Saban and others were screaming at him like not that long ago. So
And not even that long ago, he was an elite pitcher. You know, like a first, second round pick. So I mean, But sure, first ballot Hall of Fame, no question about it.
No question.
Thank you again, once again, everybody, for viewing tonight. And I know the Rangers were upset that we scheduled it tonight, but you know,
it's sweeps week, by the way, which is why we brought Saban on the air.
I believe we'll have the highest rated of all time.
Could be. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. As a viewership.
You always answer. You always get left out. You're like, what?
Only a